Welcome to our few moments together on the Parsha. This Shabbos, we have the unique privilege of beginning the second of the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, Chumash Shemos, and Parshas Shemos, which of course begins with the Jewish people's sojourn in Mitzrayim in Egypt, Yaakov coming down to see his son Yosef with all of the family, and ultimately they are enslaved. And of course, we're familiar with the unique event of Moshe, his birth, and eventually his flight from Egypt, despite he was appointed at that point to be the prince. Nevertheless, because of his taking charge of the life of the Jewish people when he saw them oppressed and killed an Egyptian when he was oppressing the Jews, he had to flee for his life. And as we know, he comes to the Har HaElokim, to Chorev. He comes to Har Sinai. And when he comes to Har Sinai, he sees the famous burning bush, the Sneh Bo'er Ba'esh. And Hashem appears to him. And Hashem tells him that I've come to take the Jewish people out of Egypt, and you are going to be the one who is going to lead them out of Mitzrayim. At that point, Moshe says, Vayomer Moshe Ele Elokim. Moshe says to Hashem, Mi Anochi. Who am I, ki elech el Paro, that I will go to Paro? V'chi otzi es b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim, and that I will take the Jewish people, v'chi otzi es Yisrael mi Mitzrayim, and will I take the Jewish people out of Egypt? So he has two questions. Number one, who am I to come to Paro? And number two, will I take the Jews out of Egypt? And Rashi interprets this to mean, Mi anochi ki elech el Paro. I'm not worthy to go speak to kings. And secondly, will I take the Jewish people out of Egypt? Do they have any merits that will imply that they have the right to come out of Mitzrayim? So Hashem answers both questions. And the way Rashi explains it, he answers first things first and second things second. He says, Vayomer, first Hashem says, Ki eheh imach. I am going to be with you. You don't have to worry. Don't feel lack of confidence. I am with you. Of course, every Jew has to feel that Hashem is with him. And when you feel that Hashem is with you, you will definitely have confidence even to speak to kings. And this is the sign that I have sent you. And as Rashi explains, the fact that the burning bush is continuing to burn and not being consumed shows that if you do my bidding, you do not get hurt. So I am with you, and therefore you can go. And secondly, you want to know what merit the Jewish people have. When you take the Jews out of Egypt, ta'avdun es Elokim al ha'ar hazeh. You're going to serve Hashem on this mountain. Many Mefarshim ask, in other words, there's a future event that's going to bring merit eventually, because when the Jews come out of Egypt, they're going to serve Hashem on that mountain. That is the reason that they have the merit to get out, because of some future event. And in our lives, we too should think to ourselves, we have to plan for doing good things, because as we plan for doing mitzvahs, when we think to ourselves, oh, tomorrow I have to go learn, tomorrow I have to go to shul to daven, tomorrow I have to help this person who is ill and needs some support, the future planning gives us a raison d'etre, a reason for existence. That's what the pasuk seems to say. But the Sfas Emes points a totally different thing out that's really very instructive. The Sfas Emes says, take that sentence, Bo'tziacha es ha'am mi Mitzrayim. When you take this nation out of Egypt, ta'avdun es Elokim al ha'ar hazeh. You shall serve Hashem on this mountain. It sounds, says the Sfas Emes, very immediate. The moment you take them out of Egypt, automatically you will serve Hashem on this mountain. It's almost as if The second they get out, they're already serving Hashem on the mountain. Indeed, says the Chafetz Chaim, the moment, says the Sfas Emes, the moment you turn your back on Egypt, the moment one realizes that one is not a slave to any of his desires or to any of his passions, and one is not enslaved by anyone or anything, but that their soul is free, immediately that's when the beginning of the service of Hashem starts. As soon as we realize, Hashem li, lo ira, Hashem is with me, I fear no one, I need nothing to fear. Because the second I recognize that I am not enslaved, but I turn my back on that enslavement, immediately I begin to go into the service of the freedom of the Torah and of Hashem. At the moment you take them out of Egypt, already already will you begin to do the service of Hashem on Mount Sinai. The receiving of the Torah begins the second a person realizes, I'm not enslaved. Nothing can enslave me. I have freedom of choice. Hashem has given me the ability to turn my back and to turn over a new leaf and to get better and better and better as time goes on, because I am not enslaved. The second you turn your back on the enslavement, immediately you begin to serve Hashem. Powerful from the Sfas Emes. Powerful and worthwhile. Have a wonderful Shabbos.